What's up, everyone? How is everyone doing today? Let's see who's still here. Mom first. Oops, I'm all over the place. Mom first, how are you? Michael, I don't know if you're back yet or if you're here. Hey, Kristen. Yeah, Siffa Spick is his adorable little dog. Hey, Siffa, how are you?
Good.
Okay. Um. Oh man, I don't even know where to start. Okay, so basically, like I don't know who is all like really familiar with the case, but I think it was last year that I don't remember the contents of the notebook, year before last, that Brian Laundrie had wrote that was found in his either his dry bag or his backpack. It was never I those details I have to go back over. I have to refresh myself with this case. But the main thing we wanted to do today is compare, like read them both, and then just kind of compare like the terminology, and then look at the handwriting. And we'll say here and right now, no, we are not handwriting analysis of any sort. We are just making observations on the letters. Just just comparing it, just seeing if we notice any patterns in the handwriting and all that stuff. Hey, Jim J, good to see you. So, okay, so let me pull up the
I
notebook.
sent you another one too.
Oh man. Okay. Um. Okay. It's like embossed. It looks like
Mm-hmm.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll bring that one up. Um. If we need to look at them. All right. Let me give a few minutes for everyone to get in. But for those that didn't, I mean the live yesterday was very very long because of the court proceedings. It tends to get very boring, to be honest, whenever they're talking all the legal stuff. But pretty much this was a huge win for the Petitos with that letter being put into discovery so that it can be put in front, for a jury to decide on what, those that letter's intentions were. um I know they did say that now between now and the trial, which is not until next year, May of next year, yes, there could be more motions that come out. They could try to suppress it again, but as of right now, it is in discovery and will hopefully be able to stay there and be put in front of a jury. So, the notebook. So the notebook is what was found in, supposed to be, allegedly, Brian Laundrie's handwriting, and that's the one I read on the live the other night. I don't know if all of you are here. I can read it again. I can show it on the screen if you want. So I guess just type a one in chat if you want me to read his Brian Laundrie's alleged, the way the events unfolded in his mind. If y'all want me to pull that up on screen and we can read it like it in its entirety, um, I can do that. And then we can go over the burn after reading letter that Roberta Laundrie wrote to her son. She claims she wrote it in May of 2021, which would have been before their trip. However, as you've seen in the video, the lawyers, or the attorneys are saying different. And we can go over the words in that one as well. I know it's been all over the internet, it's been all over, YouTube, Twitter, but just in case someone hasn't seen it, hasn't had time to read it or whatever, we're going to go over them both in their entirety and then we'll compare. So let me pull up the notebook. if I can do this the right way. Okay. Oh, that's not one. Where's page one? Right here. Can you see that on the screen? Pretty good. It needs to be bigger. I don't think it was. Oh, okay.
Still really blurry.
Yeah, that's the freaking image though. This first page is horrible. But what I do have is the transcript. So while that's on the screen, can you even see the whole thing? No.
No.
Yeah, this page just sucks. I'm just gonna read from the transcript from this one for this one because it's horrible. Okay, so it says, Gabby, I wish I was right at your side. And I am reading from the right place, right? Because I'm on two different windows. Is that how it starts? Yep. Okay. So it says, Gabby, I wish I was right at your side. I wish I could be talking to you right now. I'd be going through every memory we made, getting even more excited for the future. But we lost our future. I can't live without you. I've lost every day we could have spent together, every holiday. I'll never get to play with, and this is illegible. Again, I don't know if it's easier on the screen. Nope, it's not. Okay, never go hiking with TJ, and I can say that because the name, he's not a minor. It's uh public. So I loved you more than anything. I can't bear to look at our photos to recall great times because it is why I cannot go on. When I close my eyes, I will think of laughing on the roof of the van, falling asleep to the sight of, I think it said something like stars or the galaxy or something here. But right here it says illegible. At the Crystal Geyser, I will always love you. Is that where that one ends? Gosh, this notebook is a mess. All right. So this one is also kind of blurry and messy. And I don't know if he had this sitting down in the reserve with the notebook on his knee writing or what the situation was, but it also had water damage to it. But so it says, if you were reading Gabs's journal, looking at photos from our life together, flipping through old cards, you wouldn't want to live a day without her. Knowing that every day you'll wake up without her, you wouldn't want to wake up. I'm sorry to everyone this will affect. Gabby was the love of my life, but I know adored by many. I'm so very sorry to her family because I love them. I'd consider her younger siblings my best of friends. I'm sorry to my family. This is a shock to them as well, a terrible grief. Um, and it's just hard to keep up with all this. Let me know if you need to highlight anything in chat or whatever, or address a comment. They loved as much, if not more than me. A new daughter to my mother, an aunt to my nephews. Please do not make this harder for them. This occurred as an unexpected tragedy. I think unexpected is an interesting word that he chose. Rushing back to our car, trying to cross the streams of illegible here. Before it got too dark to see, too cold. I hear a splash and a scream. I could barely see. I couldn't find her for a moment, shouted her name. I found her breathing heavily, gasping. She was freezing cold, the Blazing Hot National Parks in Utah. Let me see if it looks anything right here. Yeah. I couldn't find her for a moment. Okay, this is also stressful, Stiffa. Struggling. The temperature had dropped to freezing and she was soaking wet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just like, it's hard to follow along with the pages because they're so freaking blurry, and it honestly is just hard to do switch back and forth to both. So I'm gonna read it. I'm not gonna stop anymore. Just to get it through. The temperature had dropped to freezing and she was soaking wet. I carried her as far as I could from the stream toward the car, stumbling, exhausted and shocked, when my illegible and knew I couldn't safely carry her. I started a fire and spooned her as close to the heat. She was so thin, had already been freezing too long. I, I couldn't at the time realize that I should have started a fire first, but I wanted her out of the cold, back to the car. From where I started the fire, I had no idea how far the car might be, only knew it was across the creek. When I pulled Gabby out of the water, she couldn't tell me what hurt. She had a small bump on her forehead that eventually got larger. Oh, okay. That's the first time I'm noticing that it said forehead. Her feet hurt, her wrist hurt, but she was freezing, shaking violently. While carrying her, she continually made sounds of pain. Laying next to her, she said little, gasping between violent shakes, gasping in pain, begging for an end to her pain. She would fall asleep, and I would shake her awake, fearing she shouldn't close her eyes if she had a concussion. She would wake up in pain, start her whole painful cycle again, furious that I was the one waking her. She wouldn't let me try to cross the creek, thought like me that the fire would go out in her sleep and she'd freeze. I don't know the extent of Gabby's injuries, only that she was in extreme pain. I ended her life. And this is when they called it, like, finally, like it was a confession. I thought it was merciful, that it was what she wanted, but I see now all the mistakes I made. I panicked, I was in shock, but from the moment I decided, took away your pain, I knew I couldn't go on without her. I rushed home to spend any time I had left with my family. I wanted to drive north and let James or TJ kill me, but I wouldn't want them to spend time in jail over my mistake, even though I'm sure they would have liked to. I am ending my life not because of a fear of punishment, but rather because I can't stand to live another day without her. I've lost our whole future together, every moment we could have. I'm sorry for everyone's loss. Please do not make life harder for my family. They lost a son and a daughter, the most wonderful girl in the world. Gabby, I'm sorry. I have killed myself by this creek in the hopes that animals may tear me apart, that it may make some of her family happy. Please pick up all of my things. Gabby hated people who litter. Okay, let me open this again really quick because I just want to point out something about that particular page. Okay. So again, that was his narrative. That was his um way, like that was his confession. So I mean, they're gonna, I don't, how does that work? Sifa, do you know? Like, I mean, I know this is like a civil case, so it's not criminal. So it's like they really can't prove or say otherwise of anything that he said in this notebook is factual or not. Because really it's just a civil suit, against like the distress, and against like the letter, like the fact that they had knowledge. I don't think we're ever gonna know anything in detail about, like, you know what I mean? Like, of maybe what really transpired. I mean, I hope we do, but I'm not sure if we would. But I wanted to point out on the last page, so like all the rest of the notebook is written in, like, this, and then there's this, like, this one was always, it looked like he maybe used another pen. And he added this like as a last note or something, a last little side note. And I thought it was interesting too because, he was like, please pick up all of our trash. Gabby hated people who litter. And that was also referenced in his Instagram posts a lot. Like a lot of his captions had stuff about littering, stuff about drinking water out of plastic, things like that. So I don't know. What is everyone's thoughts on the Notebook itself and Brian's version of events that happened?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to catch up on comments right quick. Let me see. Where am I looking?
Sorry.
You're good.
Messenger.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, we can go over like every line and like talk about like what he meant. And it can be graphic too, because I was reading some stuff today about the whole situation. But all right, let me catch up on comments real quick in case I missed anyone come in. I'm sorry. Thank you for being here. Okay, Sifa, did you already go get your food? Yeah, he's probably eating right now, Jim J. Probably tacos. Yeah, Tracy. So the unexpected tragedy. I mean, he says that he ended her life. It's let me catch up on comments, and then I promise we're gonna talk about like each line, each little thing that he says in there. I call BS on Brian. He could have called for assistance. Yep, that's one of the main things. Like, and again, I'll get into a little bit more here in a minute. If he would have called 911, they would have sent a helicopter in to get her to Med Center. Right, because you have to. Okay, so when I'm reading it, like, why was she in pain in the first place? Why did he have to pull her up out of water? And then another creator, the one I was showing you last night, she made a good point too. She was like, why did he hear a splash? Why did he hear a scream? Why wasn't she right next to him? Like, how far away was she? Like, what is he implying exactly? Like, his version of events sounds just, I mean, like, it doesn't make sense. I mean, it doesn't give any context. Like, like, I think there's truth in it, but spun in a twisted way, in his way. These alleged injuries were not on the autopsy. So I know that they mentioned blunt force trauma and manual strangulation by throttling. I read it today. Trigger warning in chat. Anybody can drop the command. I did look it over again today because I remember doing this when this notebook first came out. And so it was blunt force trauma and it was manual strangulation by throttling. And the difference, like there is, differences between, the different asphyxiation, whether it's like, using something like a rope or those kind of things. And then when it's by throttling, it's specifically with the fingers and the palms of the hands on certain points of the neck. So that is the difference. And I know it's very graphic and I hate to think about it. It breaks my heart. But this is a very intimate, up close and personal way of taking someone's life. And at any moment, you can stop. You can decide to take your hands off of that person's neck or however, because it also said that you can like wrap, if you're wrapping, like say he came behind her and he wrapped his arm around her neck, it can also mean that. But the point is at any moment he could stop. And the fact that he chose to go through with it until it ended her life, it's he meant to do that. It's intentional, and that's he did exactly what he wanted to do. It was not an accident. Not that he's saying that it is, but it's like it's a mercy kill. No, I'm sorry. We don't. I'm not buying that. Um, this is just BS. Someone is in pain. So, right. That's what I'm saying. And it's like, maybe this was his way of psychologically justifying it in his mind, because none of us were there. None of us know really his character besides what we've seen on the body cam footage. And I read something also when this first came out that mentions that when a person who has unalived someone in this manner, when they have done this and this is their very first time doing it, they don't realize, and trigger warning, they do not realize the effects and what stages the body goes through to get from them being alive to not. And it makes you wonder if why afterwards there were sightings of him that he left the campsite and he was hitchhiking. He hitchhiked with two different people, um, and then eventually made his way back. So it's like, did he freak out after he did this? And I'm not saying out of remorse. I don't know. I don't know what he was feeling. I wasn't there, but it was just an observation made early on that, like, after he did this, realized what he did, like, it was you know what I'm saying, like, it has to be horrible, because as horrible as what happened to her, don't think I'm taking up for him, but he did this with his own hands and he had to come to terms with that. And that's what makes me so mad that he ended up getting a phone call home to his parents, getting the lawyer in place, made it all the way across the country back to Florida, and still got away. They didn't have eyes on him like they should have. He got away with this brutal, this horrible. It makes me mad. I lose words when I think about it, because so much to me, there were so many times that, things were missed and he could have been serving time. Biggest load of bullcrap I've heard since my narcissist ex. Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, he's writing it from, it's like he wanted the world to hear his version of it and his justifications for it. And it's like, no, this he's when he mentions the bump on her head, he's making it seem like, well, honestly, he really doesn't give any context, but it's like he leaves it up to us to figure out. Um, it's like she was injured, but he doesn't know the extent of her injury. So then where was she? Like, according to you, Brian Laundrie, where was she? What happened to her? And then the violently shaking. That's one of the things that happens when a person passes away in that manner. They violently shake. There's seizures that can start. I mean, there's all kinds of events. I mean, if you have the stomach to look it up and read about it, it's not it's horrible. So why was she violently shaken? Why was she already in pain? Why was she getting pulled out of water? Those are the questions I have. It's all about him, right? The only way you know more is if his family speaks of what they know, but oh yeah, we should not hold our breath on that. Mm-mm. Um, yeah, and this is what they called the confession, Tracy, because he actually, I mean, they found the notebook near his remains, and I mean, he's writing it to Gabby and says, "I ended her life." So yeah, it was a confession. I mean, if they would have freaking found him in time, and I don't know. I don't know at what point he wrote this letter. That's the frustrating thing. To me, he wrote this right before he unalived himself, apparently. I don't know. Nobody knows the timing of anything. Hi, Evie Marie. Welcome in. Uh Killshot, I seen your name. I don't see you yet. Right, hoping for answers. You don't end a life because someone is in pain. Go get help. You do everything to save the ones you love, not killing her. Exactly. Oh, yeah, Kristen, that I thought about that too. And I also thought about the scenario of, because this is what we do, like we theorize, and none of us were there. So again, speculation, opinion, and I don't. We can only use what we have in front of us, right? So one of the scenarios I thought of was when they got back from Mary Piglets. That was a very heated argument according to the workers there and the managers and all that. Like that was a very heated argument, and that was on the evening of the 27th. So when they get to the campsite, I mean, look how he's acting in a public place. Can you imagine how he changed and how worse it could get whenever he has her alone? And they were in a dispersed camping site. We've seen many pictures of it, many videos of it. I imagine the argument just escalated. And what if maybe he was trying to leave again and leave her stranded? What if she was trying to get away from him and she slipped and fell and hit her head, and maybe that part was like not intentional? But then again, why go from that to strangling her? So yeah, Kristen, I think it's possible that it's like you said, while he was doing the strangling is when she hit her head. What if she was sitting down when he approached her? And like we just don't know. You have to use what's in front of us to try to make it make sense in our heads, because we were not there. And I don't know if we'll ever know. And I mean, honestly, we don't need to know. That's Gabby's family's business. That really isn't for anything, for us to know. But just to try to make sense, because I don't believe crap in this notebook. Certain injuries to the bones in her neck indicated that it was by hands, not a chokehold. Yes, thank you, Sifa. Thank you for reminding me about that. Yeah, it was that one bone, and I forgot what it's called. We were reading about it, right? But yeah, so that's very personal. Like it's not from behind. So you're looking into this person that you supposedly love, and you're literally taking the life out of them. And at any moment you could decide to stop it, and you don't. Exactly. Hoping for answers. I don't understand. It takes close to 7 minutes. Yeah. And that's what I was saying. I was reading something today that was like very detailed in the process. And I mean, it's it's horrible. I think it did say like 5 to 7 minutes, and it says 5 minutes may not seem like a very long time, but for the victim, it's a very torturous 5 minutes. And it just makes me want to cry when I think about it, because just like with Kylie, I got invested with Gabby's case, and you get to, not that this person, not that like you have a bond with them because you've never met them, but you get invested in their cases, and it's heartbreaking when you find out the horrible details of what happened to them. It's not accidental act ever when you use hands to do it. Yeah. And I just meant maybe the part that the bump on her forehead, that maybe she slipped and fell, either from maybe trying to get away from him or something. And like Kristen had said above somewhere, that he probably snapped. I completely agree with that, because I mean, I know many situations, DV situations, that's definitely something that happens. Okay. And then used her van and her money to go back to mommy, who would do anything apparently to protect him. Yep. And we're going to get to that one too. I just wanted to see y'all's thoughts on this notebook and his little alibi, because we didn't really talk about it a whole lot the other night. Oh, Stefa, the death rattle. Hey, Megs. It can also be convulsions from head trauma. Yeah, I mean, they say that. Let me just put this one up for now. I just don't want to go into too much detail, but when you look it up, it's horrible, and for a person to be able to do that to someone they love and watch all of that happen to them, it's sickening. Okay, so you think he wrote this out at the alligator park? Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. All messages, guys. What, Megs? What did I miss? Wait, I just saw a comment. Jim J, his family are the same as him. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You just have to wonder, how he was raised. And the thing is that Gabby lived with him for a year. Did they not see any kind of, behavior? Did he hide it? I mean, I don't know. He probably thought that he was going to take her to the hospital and thought that she was going to be okay. And she died on the way to the hospital. And I think that she would have wanted it if it was. Well, Michael, that's the thing. He never called the ambulance. Let me make sure. He probably thought that he was going. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, if he would have called for help, but he didn't. That's the thing. He intentionally did this. He was already mad. And you have to remember the whole August 12th thing. Like I said, there might have been good days in between, but the traffic stop, just from experience, like I said before, that was probably a huge trigger. Yeah, so it's the Myakkahatchee Environmental Park at the Carlton Reserve. But yeah, there's lots of alligators there. There's all sorts of wildlife out there. Yes, this is the name of the bone that was said to have been, that proved that it was him using his hands. Y'all behave in chat. Hit all messages, not top messages. Megs, you're one of the people that always forget to do that. I think he was in a rage. They were fighting. She ran and fell, hit her head. He grabbed her and choked her. He knew what he was doing. That's kind of how I thought about it also. I think she was trying to run from him. It's not like they were stranded. He could have carried her to the car and drove her to wherever help was, but he chose not to. He chose to play God instead, right? I mean, an article I was reading, or it was a video I was watching, I don't know, I've been all over the place, but she was literally saying that I think it was when Brian Enton went out there, you see where the van is parked and you see the location of where they found her remains, where there was like a evidence of a burn ring, and obviously where they had the tent set up. It wasn't that far, and the grounds were also pretty dry. So when he mentions water, like we had looked into it a while back, and yes, at that time there were like little streams of water or whatever, because it was August, but it wasn't like when Brian Enton went in the late winter where it was full of water. So the way he says he had to pull her out of the water and all that, like, no, and none of that makes sense. Oh, Megs, I like your picture. Geez, Killshot, you finally got it. Congratulations. Okay. And I wanted to, Sifa, did you want me to say the observation you made?
You can.
Okay, so if you remember in the note that I just read, and he says that like she was so thin or so little or whatever. This is what I mean. It goes along with what I said about um I think there was truth in the letter, but he put his own spin on it. So when he was saying that she was so thin or so little, he could have been talking about her neck and this observation that Sifa made. Like, what if he was referring to how slim and little or thin her neck was? It goes right along with the violently shaking. So those are just some things to think about. Hi, Linda Linzabel. Why was he hitchhiking at one time? Good question. I don't know. Um, I have it written down, and we do have a good timeline that we could always pull up. But basically, it's like he left the scene. We don't know what time of when. We know that they left Mary Piglet's like that evening, and then they went back to the campgrounds. So they believe it was like that night of the 27th, and I believe on the 28th is the day that he did the hitchhiking. Um, I don't know why he would have done it. I don't know, like why leave it? Because he basically made like a he went into a town and then he got into another vehicle with someone else, and then they basically brought him back to the entrance of the campground of the Bridger Tetons campground. So maybe that's what I was saying. Maybe he freaked out after it happened. What if he did black out when it happened? It's still not an excuse at all whatsoever. Woke up and was freaking out. Maybe that's whenever he made all his phone calls back home to mom and for the lawyer and figuring out a plan, and he couldn't stay around the campsite because he couldn't bear to be around Gabby and to see what he had done to her. Um, Again, I'm not him. I can't possibly say what he was thinking or doing, but he definitely did some hitchhiking. Yeah, it did, because that TikToker, and along with the ones who picked up the van parked there, with them calling in those tips, those were huge. And that's whenever social media can be very, very helpful, because I mean, we had freaking Brian Laundrie who returned home without her. Nobody's answering questions. The Petitos, it took, I think it was like 2 or 3 days for them to even be able to get a missing persons report, because they were in New York and she was from Florida, and it was a bunch of like red tape kind of that she had to go through to finally get the missing persons report. But meanwhile, you have TikTokers and YouTubers who are out there and have sightings and called in credible tips, and they were able to finally locate her body. Now, she was out there 4 to 5 weeks by the time she was found, but I mean, that is a great example of how social media can be helpful and be effective in helping with cases like this. Because I remember we were on a road trip during this time, and we were actually going from, to the Northeast, and it was talked about that like maybe he was on the Appalachian Trail or something. So I mean, everywhere we went on that road trip, we were looking. So all eyes were looking for him. So thank God for those social media, folks that called those tips in, and that did what they did. They saw something, they knew something, so they said something. All right, let's see. I think he was hitchhiking after and seen in other places because he was trying. Oh, that is a good point too. Yeah, trying to remove himself from the scene. And then like, so I was reading back on my timeline. Their trip was set to end on October 30th or 31st in Oregon. No, on Halloween. It was Halloween. So he was probably thinking he was just going to get away with this, and he'll leave her body out there and there won't be anything left for them to find, and they won't ever know who it was. Like, there won't be any DNA. Like, that's what I imagine he thought was going to happen. So it's like, I'm glad everything did turn out the way he did. He made the cross country trip. He took her money. He spent her cards. It was able to give them a timeline of the different stops he made along the way. And it just makes me so frustrated because once they caught on to the fact that he did that, it was cause for an arrest. Like, all they needed was to find him. They could arrest him, and then he could have freaking been held accountable for what happened to her. Yeah, Kristen, I see what you're saying. It makes sense. Okay. Did anybody else have any questions about this notebook? Did we want to touch up on this before we do the handwriting comparison thing? Anything else about this?
Mm-mm.
No. Jim J, I will say, yeah. Like, I know they didn't retain Bertolino until September 2nd. So if he called his parents and their lawyer friend, who, keep in mind, was a friend of the family since Brian was little, that's another thing that frustrates me, because between August 28th and September 1st, any kind of conversation or any kind of communication between them and Bertolino, like any kind of advice that he gave them, like that is not attorney-client privilege, because he wasn't retained until September 2nd. So that's why I have a lot of questions in this case. I don't understand why it never went criminal, like even with the parents and the lawyer, not just a civil suit, but why couldn't it have been a criminal case with everything that they have, with the dates that they know, like everything they know? Why is this not a criminal case? I would love someone in law that could fill me in on that, because that bothers me. Okay, let me pull up this crazy letter. All right, so yesterday, the burn after reading letter was, put into discovery, and it was released to the public really earlier than I thought. I thought it would be like a day or two, but I actually saw it like yesterday evening. And I do believe the family was okay with it, because I did see an article where it says that the Petitos like released it. So, but I mean, I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But it was coming from JB, who is also in contact with the Petitos and stuff. If he released it, I want to say that the family was okay with it being released. Let me catch this before. So, Jim J, you were talking about that last paragraph on the note where he says, "Don't forget to pick up trash and the litter." Oh, that's a good observation. Yeah. And see, that's why we want to compare these, because what if his mom actually wrote the notebook stuff? I mean, it's just a thought, because, right, we don't know anything. We have to just make our own, kind of theories and stuff like that. And it's like you're saying, what if it was someone else who wrote the story and he added the last little bit? That makes me angry, them knowing, and they go on a camping trip. That was to try to get, yep. I said the same thing, Jim J. They came up, and also, if he told them that he was going to do what he did to himself, maybe it was their goodbyes and to get the story straight. Like, who knows? Okay, so this was the cover. And she writes out his entire name and then burn after reading. Okay, and then we have, god dang it, my mouse won't work. All right. I might have to read along on your hold on, y'all. Let me see if I can get it, because the glare on this one is it's so bad. Trying to see which one of yours is the best one, Sifa. I think this one. Where's the one of just her letter? Okay. Is this big enough on the screen? It's the biggest I can get it to where it don't leave anything out.
You can do like one side and then the other side.
Okay. Do you have them individually like that? Yeah.
Not immediately, but I can.
Okay. No, it's okay. Because, I mean, it's mainly like right here, in this area right here that was like really hard. And then I think on the other bit, like and
I
right
do
here.
have one that doesn't have that glare. Give me just a sec.
Okay. Thank you. Hey, Variah, Tasha. This is a photograph of a photocopy. Terrible. Yeah, I agree. And there are like transcripts too for this one, but if my loved one was in danger, my trash would be the last thing I would think about. Yeah. But and like I said, I think it's, I don't know if you, I remember reading his Instagram post before his Instagram went down, and he always talked about littering, how it disgusted him that humans, and he would say humans, left their trash and their plastic in the parks and those kinds of things. And then if you noticed on in the body cam footage, the officers offer each of them water, and Brian refuses. And I think he mentioned something like he doesn't drink from plastic. I'm not sure on that part, but I know he refuses the water, and Gabby accepts the water. And not saying that that means anything. It's just saying that like he made it a point to, like, he was adamant about the plastic and the littering and all this other stuff. So I don't think homeboy would have made it too far in prison. I definitely think he was terrified of, being in prison for the rest of his life. Okay. Hey, the bit in this where it says I will bring crosses out, then yes. I'm gonna talk about that too, Jim J. Oh yeah, he was terrified. Hold on just a second. My dogs are about to bark. I'm gonna bring up the other one real quick. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, this one's a lot clearer. But did you do this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Last night, whenever I think you had fell asleep. Yeah. When this came out, I was like, oh man, I bet Siffa could clear this up, and I had to go and find the transcript to read it. So thank you for this. Okay, so let me see if the other page.
I'm working on the other page too.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
almost
You're
done.
good. Oh, okay. Yeah, because that one was pretty but yeah, you can do that because it don't have all the shadows and stuff. That's what I like. All right, so this one says, I just want you, and sorry, let me interrupt real quick. So this is the letter from Roberta Laundrie to, well, labeled for her son, Brian Christopher Laundrie, to read, and it said burn after reading on the cover. There is some discrepancies right now, but I'm pretty sure it's been cleared up because I saw it in court documents. So this officially on court documents, it says this letter was particularly found in Brian's backpack that was near his remains. So this letter was on him in his possession at the time of his demise. So again, she says, I just want you to remember I will always love you, and I know you will always love me. You are my boy. Nothing can make me stop loving you. Nothing will or could ever divide us. No matter what we do or where we go or what we say, we will always love each other. If you're in jail, I will bake a cake with a file in it. Hmm. If you need to dispose of a body, trigger warning, I will bring, scratch out, I will show up with the shovel and garbage bags. If you fly to the moon, I will be watching the skies for your reentry. If you say you hate my guts, I'll get new guts. That is a very odd statement. Remember that love is a verb, not a noun. It's not a thing, it's not words, it is actions. Watch people's actions to know if they love you, not their words. Thank you, Zipa. Okay. Therefore, I am certain that neither death nor life, nor angels, nor the ruling spirits, nor things present, nor things to come, nor powers from above, nor powers from below, nothing in the entire created world can separate our love. Neither hostile powers nor messengers. Oh, wait. Messengers of. Was there something right there? Wait. No.
Mhm.
Okay. No, you're good. Of heaven, nor monarchs of earth. Nothing has the power to separate us. And this is what she was quoting a Bible verse. And she says extended version with the exclamation mark. And I'm familiar with this Bible verse. So her extended version is this added to it. And she puts it in parentheses. Nothing can separate us. Not hatred, not hunger, not homelessness, not threats, not even sin, not the thinkable or unthinkable can get between us. And then she adds the little line here. I don't know if you guys can see it real good. Let me bring it up. Not time, not miles and miles and miles. So, what are y'all thoughts on this letter? I think that he may have alluded to them that something was going on in some way, so she needs to assure him that no matter what he will do. Oh, Sifa, did you do that?
Well,
No matter what he will do or has done, she would be there. Yeah. It just, and the whole thing comes down to timing. Like, she claims to have written this in May. I don't think that's true. So my own personal opinion, my own theory is that she either wrote it when he arrived home and they went camping, and maybe that's where he told what actually happened, and she wrote it before he left for his hike. Some people were like on the internet and like, JB's live yesterday were saying that they thought that it was written when he flew home for that 1 week, and then he had it on him since then. So like there's a lot of speculation, but I think it's like you, Jim J. I think it's after the fact. I think it's after he unalived her and the parents knew what happened. That Bible verse is not finished. Curious, she said, extended version, right? Since she left off from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Huh. Well, I thought I was familiar with it, but I didn't realize that she left off a certain line. That's interesting. Yeah, the whole letter is written. You think it was written? Yeah, written post-killing. Yeah, I agree. Sorry, but if I was writing a letter to my son telling him how much I love him, I wouldn't say any of this. Right? Me either. This just makes, like, the judge didn't take much time to rule on this yesterday. Like, it was like a no-brainer. And I mean, I'm gonna go through it. Kristen, see, I'm more sus of the mom. Like, I think the dad is just like compliant and turns a blind eye to what's going on. I see Roberta as being like the narcissist. That's just like my observation, just from like their body language when they're around, like from all the footage that we've watched when Brian Enton was outside the house, her mannerisms and all that stuff. Like, to me, it looks like she was the narcissist, and that's where she comes in and like she takes up for him because I mean again, but I don't know. I don't live there. I don't know. This was definitely written after he came home with Gabby's van and no Gabby. Yeah, that's what I think so too. Yeah, so Jim J, I want to talk about that for a minute. So someone did bring this up in JB's live yesterday, and he was just like, this is actually a very good question. Because when you read the statement, like if you read it both ways, I will bring a shovel and garbage bags. So if you need to dispose of a body, I will bring a shovel and garbage bags. So that insinuates that you show up at the scene and you're gonna bring the shovel with you. But if you read it like, if you need to dispose of a body, I will show up with the shovel and garbage bags. One of them insinuates participation, and one insinuates that you're gonna be there. You'll help. You'll watch, kind of thing. I don't know. Like, that's kind of how it was like, and kind of interpreted. Like, what do you guys think about that? That word bring, and she scratched it out and then puts show up. Because I will bring a shovel and garbage bags. To me, that makes her look worse. If you're bringing it versus showing up, you just show up with it. I don't know. I don't know how to interpret that statement, but it's a very, very odd statement. I'm storing all these comments that I'm missing. Judy, welcome. Okay, let's see what some thoughts are. Show up implies that she will know he needs help, where bring implies willingness to help, but after the event or the emergency. That makes sense. And you can also say, so I will show up implies that she knows he needs help. That makes a lot of sense. Like he called her, hey, I need you to help me do this. And she shows up like she's there. That's what I was saying. Like, I think it means like she's going to participate. But where bring implies willingness to help, but after the fact. Yeah, like I'll bring it to you and you can use it. Bring sounds like he rang them, told them, and she wrote letter to him. Yeah. And the fact that she doesn't even cross it out like fully to where that word is not even like legible, like if you're you're writing this type of letter and you like she probably fully believed he would actually burn it after he read it, which thank God he did not. But that's a big slip up in her words. Show up implies closer connection between them. Hmm. So what if it's not? I don't know. Like I go back and forth. Show up, and so then she would change it to show up. I don't know. Hey, Queen, you're good. Bring in pod. She knows what he will need. And see, I think it can be like kind of interchangeable too, though, because I mean, like, if you call me and say you need me, and I'm not going to use this example, but like, I need you to bring me gas. I ran out of gas on the side of the road. I'm either going to bring it or I'm going to show up with it. Like, what's the difference? It can be interchangeable. Like, I'll show up with it. To me, that means more like she already knows of the fact that he needs it and like, I got you. But I'll bring it as like, he called to tell her, and okay, I'm bringing it to you. What my initial thought was when she said I would bring, maybe at one point they were planning on maybe helping him hide it, but then thought against it and just made him come home. I really don't know. My thoughts are all over the place with this. To me, it's like he had already told her, and she is assuring him in this letter how she feels no matter what he had done. Yeah, I agree. The entirety of the letter is basically like, no matter what you've done, I got your back. We'll protect you. You're going to be fine. Oh, wait. Did you highlight one that I messed up, Tifa? His parents knew exactly what he did. They called the lawyer before. Oh, yeah. I just don't know if he went into detail. Like, what if he didn't go into detail and just told them something horrible happened? I'm going to need a lawyer. I'll explain it more when I get home, kind of thing. And then went into detail. Because to me, they would have retained the lawyer right away. But again, like that's just my thoughts and theories. Okay, okay, so when you're reading this in the mindset of she knows what he's done. She already knows what he's done, and she knows that he's running away and that he's gonna hide, and he like, what if he's like, I got this, I don't want this to be on y'all, I'm gonna get away or whatever. Or they were like, we'll get you out of the country because there was evidence somewhere that hasn't been released yet, but there was mention of things that were, the parents were trying to put things in place to help him leave the country. So I keep that in mind because she knows what he's done, and she's saying all of this stuff. It's like reminding him that nothing can make me stop loving you. Nothing will or could ever divide us, no matter what we do or where we go or what we say. we will always love each other. Um, if you're in jail, why would she even include jail unless she knew something had been committed? And I do want to point out that this line, if you fly to the moon, I will be watching the skies for your reentry. So, in her first affidavit, where she explains where this letter came from, it's a children's book about a bear. And this is a quote from that children's book. This is one of the only lines that I believe so far has come from one of the books that she named. This line is just weird. If you say you hate my guts, I'll get new guts. It just sounds like she's not in a right mindset. Um, this was ironic to me. The remember that love is a verb, not a noun. It's not a thing. It's not words. It is actions. Watch people's actions to know if they love you, not their words. So, two things I point out in here is one, his action in what he did to Gabby implies that he did not love her. If you could do that to her, he did not love her. I'm not saying she meant that in this paragraph, but I'm saying, isn't it ironic that she's telling him this about what love is and it's actions that show if someone loves you, but yet look what her son did to the girl that he supposedly loved. And then second, um, actions. Her actions, maybe, in everything she's doing to help cover this up for him. They sold assets before to get money. They retained the lawyer for him. They took him on a camping trip because they purchased the camper in July. All the things that she was saying she was going to do for him, it's like she's reminding him that watch my actions, watch the things I'm doing for you. This is how you know I love you and I have your back. I mean, there's no accountability whatsoever. Was there any phone calls to his parents before he came home? Yes. Um, they believe August 27th is the day that he did what he did. Rocky, get out of here, boy. What are you doing? Sorry, my dog is chewing stuff. What is he chewing? Rocky tries to eat things that are not food. Um, yeah, Jim J. The very next day, on August 28th, there's two phone calls. I don't know which came first because I don't want to misquote anything, but he did call his parents and he made a call to the lawyer the day after they believe that he did it. So yes, there were phone calls. I also read that on that same day, and in between the 28th and the 30th, he sent text messages from his phone to Gabby's phone to make it appear as if she was alive and they were in communication. He also sent text messages from Gabby's phone to Gabby's parents, again, to make them believe that she was alive and well, when indeed she had already been deceased. Yeah, jail goes with shovel and bags and body. Right. Like, why would you even bring up all of that stuff? I mean, this has to be after the fact. Hold on one second. They sent him $20,000 to run and fought in court to get it back after his remains were found. I don't remember. I think they said 10,000 yesterday in court, but I could be wrong. And yeah, I do believe that they did go to court and they lost. I don't know. We have a lot of documents that we have to go through. And like I said, we will do a more thorough timeline. It's just I wasn't expecting this to come out yesterday, and I really wanted to talk about it. Good night, Mom first. Um, Tracy, which part the what Queen said? Okay. Let me hurry up and move on. So on this this part. Okay, let me ask this question first because it's an unpopular opinion, and some people call everyone crazy when this is even brought up anymore. But typo 1 in chat if you believe Brian Laundrie is deceased. Type a 2 in chat if you're not sure, or type a 3 in chat if you think that he's still alive. So 1 deceased, 2 unsure, 3 alive. So Kristen thinks deceased. Tracy alive. Tracy, we're in the same boat. Well, kind of like 75-25. So I guess I would be unsure, but more leaning towards I think he's alive. And like I said, it is an unpopular opinion at this point. People have told me, "Oh my gosh, they found all his bone fragments. He's definitely gone." Okay, I get that, but I just don't know. Oh, another one, Queen. You think he's possibly alive also? I may be wrong on the amount, but I do remember him having a bank account they wanted access to after his remains were found. Oh, okay. Yes, they did. I don't remember. I don't remember all the details about it, Queen, so I don't want to, speak on it. But yes, I do know what you're talking about, and we'll get all that together. Okay, so now there's not many people in here, so and some people may not want to answer, and that's okay. Did they do a DNA test on him, and where did they take it from? Okay, here's the thing, Killshot. The day the day they miraculously, the parents decided to go into the reserve and look for him. So they wanted to look for him. They wanted to participate this time. They were in there not even 45 minutes, maybe. And the dad makes like a beeline for the exact area, and oh, this is my son's backpack. Okay. He lets them know he found, it was either the dry bag or the backpack. I want to say dry bag because I remember seeing that in his hands.
Right.
And then he picks it up, right? He has no gloves on. He picks it up. Okay. He's leaving his DNA all over it, just saying. And then they were pulled aside by an officer where they were then, I don't know if they were shown pictures or told it was something, but I remember them being pulled aside by another officer who said in another area, which would be crime scene 2 on like in the documents, is where they found human remains. Now, on this day when this came out, I just remember watching it live and saying, I swear if these remains, because they said partial human remains. And I just remember saying, I swear if this comes back to be dental, I'm going to be, no, like this, there's no way. And yes, it turned out to be, they used dental records to identify him. And guess who his dentist is? Who is it, Sifa?
Relative.
Yeah, his relative is his dentist. So to me, yeah, you can call it like, yeah, crazy thinking, whatever, conspiracy theories, all that stuff, but that's just a little too convenient for me. And not only that, but they searched for 3 weeks in that reserve, 3 weeks, and nothing was found. And 3 weeks, he wouldn't even have been as decomposed. So why didn't cadaver dogs pick up on anything? Okay, they didn't pick up on anything for 3 weeks. The water levels, they said, had dropped. So that's why they were able to go in that day, and it was easier to like come across, and they found it. I mean, they're just walking in there and they come across it. No, there have been people out there that have done Same thing with Kylie Rodney's case, how we did stuff with the water levels and the weather that day and all that stuff. They did the same thing with Brian Laundrie, and they said that it was not as flooded as they were making it seem. So I'm sorry. I'm just one of the ones that think it's a little too convenient that it was freaking dental DNA and it's him. Like, I just have a hard time believing it. I don't know, Jim J. That's you tell me, because where I was getting at with this was, okay, this whole extended version. So nothing can separate it. So think about it. What if, let's just say what if they did get him out of the country? What if they did somehow, when he said he went for a hike, they had already set it up. He was meeting up with someone in the reserve. They were going to take him wherever the hell they were taking him. And he actually did get away. If you read this paragraph, if you're the mom and you know your son is out of the country, nothing can separate us. Not hatred. Hatred is something that the family's getting. They're both getting. Not hunger. He was, out in the reserve for maybe a day or two, possibly before whoever maybe picked him up. I don't know. I just thought of stuff like that. Not homelessness. So, okay, wherever country they're sending him to, wherever they send him, he might not have a home right away. He might be homeless, but that's not going to separate us. Not threats. We all know that people stood in front of the Laundrie's home every freaking day for how long? And there were threats yelled at them. There was so many things they went through. Not even sin. Murder is a sin. Not the thinkable or unthinkable. I mean, that is like whatever, like the unthinkable happened. Maybe she throws in thinkable because he justified it to her. I don't know. Can get between us. And then she adds, not time, because maybe she doesn't know when they'll see each other again. She just knows that her son is out of the country and he's safe. And not miles and miles and miles. Why wouldn't this, to me, this very last paragraph just makes me think that he's alive. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking that, but that's what I think. I follow Gabby's case very closely. So, good, Queen. Feel free to DM us on Discord with anything, because I did too. I just got to do a lot of refreshing my memory on it. But I do feel like, we're in May and the trial is next year in May. So we have a year. Things are going to be happening. A lot of motions there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be happening. So I definitely want to stay close to this case. If it's only dental, then I will believe he is still alive. If it's only dental, no, there's a whole anthropologist report where there were, oh my God, Stephen, how many freaking bones, fragments, and things?
A ton.
They basically reconstructed a body. I don't know. I don't buy it. They weren't even out at the reserve that long to. I don't know. You have to go back, Killshot, and watch a lot of the footage, the day that they found the remains. Go watch a lot of WFLA where JB covers it. Oh my gosh, so many questions. Mom and Dad were walking down this path, and Dad walked straight to the dry bag. Yes, he did. Jim J, what about the lawyer? The lawyer got him out of the country? You can pull your teeth and get implants and shit too easily and cheap these days. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's just too convenient that his family member happens to be his dentist, and I mean they produced the dental records within hours. Okay. Let me get my little. Sorry, let me grab something real quick. Okay. Okay, so on October 20th, they arrived at the reserve at 7 a.m. in the morning to search. Partial remains at Carlton with book bag and notebook. So a backpack, notebook found close by his body, and a dry bag found by Christopher Laundrie. So the very next morning, FBI Denver confirms that dental records are Brian Laundrie. And then on the 22nd is when they sent his remains to the anthropologist to be further, because they couldn't do like what they needed to do in Florida, so they sent it off to an anthropologist. But look how quick that was. I mean, if you would look at, if we're gonna have to go over these documents, but if you see all of the fragments and everything they said to have collected, how did they clear that whole crime scene in that short amount of time? Oh, no problem, Queen. Yeah, so we can work on this together. Just DM us. This is what Siffer brought up too, Linda. The parents showed no emotion when they found him. I would have lost my mind if it were my child. Queen, since you followed the case close, if you were watching Brian Enton, if you remember on the day of the 20th when they found him, the Laundries were then told to leave. Everybody had to leave the scene. People were following them around. They had eyes on the Laundries at all times. They get back to their home. And then that afternoon, 2 officers go to the Laundries home, and they were inside for maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and then they were out. And everybody on the internet was going crazy, wondering what the officers were doing there, because they weren't there very long. And then Bertolino confirmed via text message that it was indeed to let the family know that it was Brian Laundrie. So that was confusing too, because it said that on the 21st is when they confirmed it. So like I said, there's a lot of discrepancies. There's a lot of shady crap that went on. And not only that, but you're going to show emotion. You're going to, this is your child that is gone. And you're finding this out, and they had no emotion in their face whatsoever. None. It's like a chicken os who ripped people off. They think she committed unaliving herself. They found a foot in a gym shoe. Oh, what? This is some crazy cases. Cut off her foot and went overseas. Wow. Huh. So no judgment, but for the threes, where do you think he may be? Anywhere, Kristen. I really don't know. There was, and this wasn't confirmed, but there was even talk of Christopher Laundrie either having a family member that had like a yacht company in Florida. I don't know if that was true or not. I do know the Instagram picture that came out that showed like a foot in the water that people were saying, oh my God, it's Brian on a boat. That was debunked. I know for sure that was debunked. But I still think he did get out of the country some kind of way. I just don't know where he might be. Huh, that makes sense. If he leaves to the moon and she will look for his reentry, sounds a lot like if you go on the run, I will be looking. That's That makes a lot of sense, Killshot. And like I told Tifa, I swear if years from now I find out that the Laundries leave the country, And dogs and stuff went in but couldn't find him. But after the rain, his parents found a dry backpack. Is that correct? So one of them it's called a dry bag, and it's made for like outdoors, like when you're hiking and things like that, to put items in. So it's like waterproof, completely sealed, that kind of thing. But there was a backpack that was found. And see, that's another thing that doesn't make sense. A backpack that is underwater, they were saying that was previously underwater, a backpack that's underwater, and they're saying this letter specifically was found in that backpack. How is this letter in such good shape? The other notebook, I don't know if they clarified whether it was in the dry bag or not. I think they said it was, and it was slightly dampened because they had to send it to a lab for it to go through like the drying process, and that there was a whole process that they go through to salvage what they can from the contents, and that's how they were able to save Brian's note that we read first. But this letter, I mean, nothing is missing from it. It looks very fresh. So how did that survive a wet backpack underneath water for 3 to 4 weeks? Sifa put down the wrench. Why am I kind of crazy? I'm not the only one who thinks that he's still alive. There's a lot of people who think that he's still alive. Just saying. Yeah, Kristen, we're gonna go over it. It's a long list of every bone, every like bone fragments and all that stuff. Yeah, but if they only took the DNA from the teeth, the other bones could be anyone's. Right, Killshot. I'm gonna look at that report again from the anthropologist where they did the reconstruction, and I'll see if DNA is mentioned on there specifically again, or if they strictly went on the DNA from his teeth, because that's a good point. I mean, if I had a dentist in the family, I would go to them. Discounted work. No, I get that he went to them. It's just too convenient. Everything is just too convenient. Hey, Miss W. But I mean, I'm not here to like talk about the conspiracies and stuff. Let's just say we're gonna go with the facts. We're gonna go with what's out there. He is apparently deceased. He was cremated, and that's what's out there. Because we could go down rabbit holes all night, but yeah, it definitely seems so staged. Miss W says they knew he was going to end himself. Yeah, and like I said, that is a possibility. Maybe he did tell them, and that was like their goodbye when they went to Fort DeSoto. Dad looked upset when they found remains, but mom didn't. I do remember that scene. And yeah, it like he showed a little bit of emotion. But yeah. So if I were to think number 3, where do you think they came up with various bones to give to the forensic anthropologist? Well, see, the fact that they also found 2 other bodies, if you recall, during the search for him, there were 2 other missing people that were found in the reserve. So honestly, it seems like a place where like could be a common place where people think to get rid of remains. So honestly, it could have been anyone's. So I think what I'm going to do is like what Killshot said, and look on the anthropologist report to see if they definitely noted that that was his DNA. If they specifically used only dental, I can't buy it. Yeah, Ms. W, they haven't had the respect to show up at any of the hearings. The only statements they've made is Roberta's in defense of her letter. The only other one was no comment, and that was through their lawyer. They have yet to say or appear anywhere. Okay. Let me highlight this one because that's what we're about to get to. I have seen cadaver dogs hit on spots where remains were burned years back. Right. And they were out there 3 to 4 weeks earlier with these dogs and they didn't find them. So I don't know. Hey, PJ, how are you? It is a lot. I'm realizing it as I go. Sif, are you still here with me?
No.
Okay. Sifa is so quiet. But he's the best co-host because literally him grabbing these images for me is a lifesaver, y'all. Because me finding them and then opening them in different windows, and he just makes it so much easier. So thank you, Sifa, for real, for all that you do. I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jim J, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they found other bodies out there, so it could be anybody. Okay, if I miss y'all comments, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get to the next part of the live that I wanted to get to, but Jim J, this one, yes, I do believe they did. And I'm putting these comments on the screen too, so I'll remember. I'll go back and watch my lives and write down stuff that I know I need to address in my next live. I am curious about this too, PJ. It's very upsetting why it's not a criminal freaking case. Yeah, Sifa, we know, but you're also working really hard in the background, so it's okay. Okay. All right, this part. Sifa, you ready for this part? This is all Sifa, y'all. He's in the spotlight here. You ready, Sifa?
No.
Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, you don't get to get away with it.
Wow.
Wow, what was that?
Hmm?
I don't know. It was like really loud for a minute, like you were in an echo chamber or something. All right.
Am I still too loud?
No, you're good. Hold
Or
on
am
one
I
minute.
too quiet?
You need to keep talking. Address the chat for a second.
Um,
I'm just putting
I
Rocky
said-
outside my door.
Is my audio okay? Is it too loud, too quiet?
Your audio sounds fine. It's just I don't know if when you move, it's making like this like whoosh, I don't know sound, but it's not like while you're
Well,
talking.
yeah, I had to move it.
Okay, yeah, then you're fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to find the one where they were side by side. I gotta go back. Okay, here's one. Open that one. And then I'll leave that one up. Y'all give me a second, guys. I'm just grabbing some of these images. Okay. Dang, I missed 12 comments.
Wow. Good job.
I love you, chat. Thank y'all for being here. Yes, Rocky's at the club. I let him out of my room so he can go clubbing all he wants.
Yeah, with me.
You can have him. I believe I read, but don't quote me on it, that the dentist who did the identification by dental records refused to show proof of a match other than a written statement.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
How did I not hear this? And why is this not a criminal case?
Because it's all circumstantial, technically.
I know, but oh my gosh, that makes me so mad.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Jim J? Like, what in the heck? Okay. Mm. You should see this thing when I click on open tabs. There's so freaking many.
Mm.
Okay.
Uh,
I think it's this one. It's fine. Okay. So let me show this real quick. So okay, you have a good, idea of the handwriting on here. And then Stifa did this for us to where we can kind of compare like the letters and like the handwriting. It's so hard though. I mean, but just from looking at this,
if you want, I can combine the brown ones.
you want to, yeah, you
instead.
want to do.
Yeah, one sec.
But I mean, and like just going back and so his has a slant to the right or to the left, right? Yeah, to the left. Downward stroke and the letters to the right. But anyway, and then like when you look at hers looks pretty straight and stuff, but like I don't know, like when you look at see his are kind of hard to. Let's see.
Oh damn! Don't discredit me. Holy shit.
No, I'm saying he wrote it so dang sloppy. The hell, Tifa? I'm trying. I don't even know why, but I'm like looking at the R's. Okay, so
Right.
the R's. See that one? Okay, so like this R right here. And then you're smart saying about going letter by letter. Well,
Yeah.
then him.
I want to make like an alphabet out of his and out of hers and compare it.
Yeah, because his, I don't know, the R's do look slightly different. But like the G's. Let's see if there's any G's right here on this one. Right here. Right here. Let's go back to his. I don't know. It's hard. And like I said, we are not no handwriting analysis people over here. We don't claim to be. We are just simply looking at this together and seeing if it's possible with the same handwriting. Hi, Melissa. Welcome in. You had a good sleep. Right, Jim J? That's what I'm saying. He's across miles and miles and miles. Her letter looks like it would be his handwriting and vice versa. That is kind of true because like when you look, this looks like more of a, like I write. I mean, mine is slanted the other way, but like I write, it's a lot neater. The only thing that makes me think that this is like her handwriting, and like this is just because of the way she does like her T and then her H's is almost like it's a almost like a kind of connecting cursive kind of thing to it. Same with the word present right here, how she does the and then into the E, or whoever wrote this. I mean, I'm calling it for what they're saying, and they're saying it's from her. But it's just interesting to look at the handwriting and think about the possibilities. Similar but not identical. She's left-handed. Do you know that, like for a fact, or are you just like an observation made from the letter? He is left-handed, and that's another thing. I don't know if Killshot's still here or not, but that whole thing with the gunshot wound to the left. I mean, okay, so wait. No, I think he was right-handed, Kristen. Right, Tifa? I think he's right-handed because the gunshot wound was to the left, on the left temple. So if you're right-handed, left temple, with that manner of unaliving, that's really weird in itself. And if we're going to believe that he is deceased, how would he do that on his own? And then there's even detailed of the trajectory of the bullet.
Trajectory. Trajectory.
That of the bullet's path. And I mean, you do the motion. If you're right-handed, do it on the opposite side. If you're left, do it on the other side of it. Like, how are you gonna hold? Or, I don't know. That didn't make sense to me. It almost seems like someone else might have had something to do with it, or it was all staged and freaking made up. I don't know. Mom is left-handed. Brian is right-handed. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought Brian was right-handed. I didn't know anything about his mom, but thank you for that information. Hey, DF. So what are y'all saying? Like the left hand does explain, like her handwriting. And I mean, I can't say like my son is left-handed, and it doesn't like his is more like this. It's straight. It's pretty much like straight like this. It doesn't have any kind of slant at all. And Brian's is, but like in some parts, like right here, it's pretty straight. And then you get to parts like this where it's really slanted, and then you have
PM.
okay. Right, Jim J, and he didn't. The wound was on the left temple. And that's why I'm saying all of this is sus. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have it really. Is it already that? What?
Mm.
Oh, I just got him a little bit. Okay, so here we go. Here's a good comparison. Let me move this out the way. Oh, yeah, the writing, Jim J. Yeah. No, Miss W. He was right-handed, and it was on his left temple. Yeah, the sister, yes, I do remember this. The sister did confirm that he was right-handed. Yes, it did. But that's still really hard to do. And then when you look at the path of the bullet. I'm not gonna say the other word because I don't know
Trajectory.
how. Trajectory. I said it. I did it. The only reason I'm saying mom is left-handed is because she writes like I do. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Because my son's is kind of like this. Like I said, it's like it doesn't have a slant at all. It's straight like this, but the letters are like uneven and stuff like this. And like there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's just like you're saying, there's like a pattern with left-handed, maybe. And I mean, all I can base it off of is my son's and hers. Looking at hers, it's kind of similar, except for the curviness of some of her letters. Um, and that's what I was saying. Like some of it looked like separate. You know, it's like she connects the S and the E. Like I write like that. I do that. It's like I do part cursive, part print sometimes. It's hard to explain. But I mean that doesn't mean that he can't do the same thing. I don't know. These are just, and then hers doesn't have any lines, his does. So of course that's, you have to take that into, you know, his is gonna look a lot neater and stuff. But Miss W, yes, he actually was into art. His entire Instagram was a lot of artwork. I mean, it was, in my opinion, crappy art. But yeah, he was an artist. Left-handers tend to smear the ink. Hmm. But and the thing is like both of these items were found in the reserve. That's the thing. And then when you look at the this tab, like the condition of the notebook, so a lot of it was bled through and smeared, and they did what they could to salvage what they could to make the, you know, somehow they were able to get almost every word. The only illegible ones was the very like very first page, and then there were so many people who tried to get what was written behind here.
Yeah.
I don't think, okay, I don't think anybody did, but that would be interesting. Yeah, and not saying, oh no, I get it. Hold on, I'm coming. Shit. The letter on the right, you can see somewhat of a small tilt to the right. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It has more of a slant in what's supposed to be his writing. So you have mom's writing and Brian's writing here. Okay, let me get to my DMs.
Yeah.
Tifa, be a nice co-host.
No.
I'm gonna unmod you, kick you, and then time you out.
I'll unfriend you.
You're gonna unsub for me?
No, unfriend.
Oh damn. Hi. Okay. What am I doing? DMs.
Yeah.
Then handle the comments.
Okay. Hi guys.
Hi guys. Okay, is this a yep, different part. I don't know why.
Visually easier.
I mean, can I? Yeah. This does make sense of the left hand because I do notice when my son writes that, yeah, he does the exact same thing. And again, we're not like saying like um I don't know how to say this. We're not saying that like maybe Brian wrote both of these, maybe mom wrote both of these, maybe someone else completely wrote each of them, or simply just like, I don't know, analyzing. That's what we do. And I just think like the words, and then if his Instagram captions, like I know Queen probably remembers this, but like Gabby always captioned her photos with like maybe one or two emojis with like a little smiley face thing. Very rarely would she put a very long sentence, and then it started changing to like these really long drawn out captions, and they were like what Brian's captions were like. So it just makes you wonder, like, like, and when he had her phone, like he went in and they did say that they were edited. So it's like he thought a lot of stuff out. I mean, if he was texting himself basically to he was texting Gabby's phone to make it look like they were in communication, he was texting the mom. I mean, it's just pure evil, cold-blooded. The W's are different. The W's curved. Yeah, you're right. His W's have like the points, and then her W's have the curves. Yeah. Good eye, Jim J. Yep. It could also be one has lines to keep the sentence straight. I don't know, just throwing out the ideas. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like his looks neater and all that because he has lines, whereas hers is written on whatever. Yes, Queen. That's what I was saying. Hold on, just 1 minute. Let me see if I can find something really quick. Mm. Sifa,
Hmm.
chat needs you.
Why?
I don't know. I can't see him right now, so I just said that.
Hmm.
They need to hear Sifanisms.
I don't want to get your stream taken down.
Oh, what? Okay, yeah, I don't want to know your Sifanisms. Okay, let me see. And let's see. Oh man, I wish I had her freaking TikTok. Um, I thought that this creator had some of his Instagram or his art. Maybe it's this one.
Ship crashed on a whole nother planet.
So yeah. Anyway, she has interesting theories and stuff. Like some of them are way out there because she was doing it real time. So this was like before she had, all the information about everything. But she made a lot of sense with a lot of things that she said. But yeah, unfortunately, his Instagram is where. Sifa, I was like, how did I click on this tab? Thank you. Yeah, that's the same bird. I'm gonna go back to the other one. Sorry, and I'm gonna pause it where that bird is. Where was that freaking bird at in this video? Right here. God dang it. Hold on, y'all. Technical difficulties.
It was like near the beginning, I think.
Yeah, I found it. Okay. Is that not the same bird? Oh wait, I took yours down. Did
Yeah.
it switch? Oh, okay. But yeah, that's the same
Well,
damn
you gotta put
bird.
yours up.
Oh. Oh, it says that I'm sharing it. It's
I
dumb.
don't see it.
No, I know, but like on the StreamYard side, it has like the little blue square like I'm sharing it.
Yeah, but I don't see it.
I don't either. I'm getting there. Let's see right here. So we need to just screenshot this and flip it and compare it with your overlay. Huh. Okay, you can put yours back up.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting. Yeah. I just caught that. And I remembered seeing the bird and I was like, oh, I missed a page, obviously, but I grabbed what JB had posted on Twitter, which was the cover photo, and everything else. Okay, so I'm not gonna share mine, I'm just gonna look. But yeah, it's like, if you can you move it up a little bit? Like, is it perched on anything, or is it just like, or is that how it was released?
Bitch, yeah. I don't know.
What did you say, Sophie? You was going look at something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, Jim J. Talk to you after. I thought about that too. That dad wrote unalive confession in journal, and mom wrote burn after reading. That's also something to think about. Let me see if stop, Rocky.
if you screenshot those birds, I can overlay it in like 3 minutes or less.
Okay. Well, the second bird, it's just gonna be hard because this is a really quick clip.
So
And
just pause it.
no, I'm saying I wish, because the line is right where I'll grab what I can for you.
Actually, I got it.
Oh, fine.
You're slow.
You should have known that you're gonna be quicker than me. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on, y'all. I found her TikTok, and I think she has pictures from his Instagram.
Okay, I got it. Done.
Dang. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to. Okay. I don't have it yet. Oh, you have it on your screen, huh? Oh,
Well,
no, you don't.
yeah, just give me a sec. I have to pull it.
Okay. That's how Dad knew exactly where to find it because he planted it in the night before. I thought about that too. I said, what if when he went out there, he planted that confessional? Wow. So this is the. Oh, wait. You have it overlay or is just next to it? That's what you're comparing. It is the same bird, though, right?
Yeah.
So what are the odds of the bird that he drew? Why would that be on the letter that she wrote?
And it says remember.
Wait, where does it say remember?
On the brown one. I took it off. But
Oh.
one sec.
No, you're good. Oh my goodness, this is gonna confuse me and that's gonna bother me. Why is that same bird on there? Hmm. Yeah, they do. They look exactly like.
Daisy.
Mm-hmm.
I put it on.
Okay. Sorry, I found his Instagram, so I was just looking. So what is that? What could that signify? So it's just a bird, and it says remember. That's the only word on that page.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling y'all, he's alive. I don't care how many people say I'm crazy. Why is the bird that he drew on there? Did he draw it on there before? And then was like, hey, mom, write me a letter in here? Like, I don't get it. Daisy and Sifa, those are art school test pictures. Can you draw this? I remember the face. You flip it. One view is a pretty woman's face, and if it's upside down, it's an ugly man. Yeah, I know what kind of pictures you're talking about, but like, what is the significance of the bird being on his social media and her putting that same bird on the letter that she left for him or had for him that was in his possession? And by the way, this book at the top, this lullaby book, I have that book, and there's some strange things in there that I highlighted, including one line that says something about a mercy unaliving. Yeah, so if anybody wants to screenshot this right here, y'all can, but that's odd to me. Free as a bird, maybe, huh? Possible. Okay, I'm gonna take that one. You want to take that one down for a second, and I'm gonna show his
No.
Instagram. No, you want to leave your artwork up? I mean, what is your artwork? You did
What?
artwork on. You did artwork on artwork.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, you used your skills to compare.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was interesting. Oh, To Kill a Mockingbird. Is that where that particular bird is from? I think what Queen, and I'm not saying that you're wrong, Miss W. Like, I see what you're saying. Like, and I don't know if I ever read that book or the movie, but the Free as a Bird, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just stuck on this now. I'm gonna be freaking thinking about it. Okay, let me get to some of the star comments. Most people probably already left, but let's see. So Kristen had said about Roberta's letter, trying to reassure him he is not a bad person or his actions will define him. I think she was trying to get him to not harm himself. And Sif, I don't know what part you were talking about when you said this, but I thought it was interesting. Do you remember?
Yeah, her letter.
Oh, yeah, right? I mean, you mentioned showing up with a shovel and garbage bags and jail and all kinds of stuff, but that's what frustrates me. Why is they're just getting sued? That's it. Which I'm glad that they are. Like, I'm glad the potatoes are fighting and doing what they should, but I'm sorry, this should have been criminal charges. This was interesting what Kristen said. Think Dad had Brian come home for a week between the stop in Moab and Gabby's death. What happened with Dad and Brian in that week? Jim J, you probably saw that. Are you in the mood today, Zippa?
Always.
One could be Mom and the other be Dad. They both seem to be in on it. Maybe he didn't write anything at all. Yeah, and that's exactly what somebody else just said. Yes. What part, Queen, to what Kristen said about when Brian went home for the week? Oh, okay. So when we have time, we are going to go through.
Wait,
Huh?
it says you still have 4.
Oh, I probably already. Stop. Yeah, I started this one. I already started this one. I showed that one, and then Miss W said her handwriting looks like Brian's. The trip home was supposedly to get stuff out of storage. Yeah, Queen, but have you heard anything more about the freaking storage locker, the storage building, whatever it was? Like, that was all just hush hush. Like, nothing really came of that. Like, nothing from law enforcement, from Bertolino. Bertolino made a statement saying that he went home to clear out the storage so that they could extend the trip. So they were saving money on the storage. So they were moving things from the storage building, I guess, to the home. And that way they could save money because they were going to extend the trip. That was according to Bertolino. But again, Bertolino is not an honest guy. So To Kill a Mockingbird, I'm not positive, but I think it's about a man escaping prison. That is interesting. Now I'm going to have to look that up too, Miss W. Rocky, you're clicking on crap. Jeez. Do you hear him shaking? Jeez. Okay.
The Count of Monte Cristo is, but I don't recall To Kill a Mockingbird being.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it. Yeah, Kristen, for real. And I just wonder if they got like the dates when they purchased them, when it was purchased, who purchased it. That would be interesting information. Stuff we might not ever know. Oh, Nina. That one's cute.
Continue.
You interrupt me. Nina is just so cute right there. Okay. Basically, I was saying, still to come, we're going to work on the timeline to get an accurate timeline because there are some people with a lot of questions. Queen, if you want to DM me, we can even do like a group DM and we can like brainstorm and do all that. We're going to go over the documents. How many documents do you have, Sifa? There's a lot.
645 pages.
Yeah. So we're not going to do that in a live. We're probably just going to kind of sum it up kind of thing. But yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, and left Gabby alone somewhere while Brian came home for that week. Oh yeah, Queen. He left her in Salt Lake City at the what did I say it
Fairfield.
was?
Fairfield.
Yeah, Fairfield Inn in Salt Lake City.
Mm-hmm. That's over by the airport.
God dang it. Yeah, right by the airport.
Mm-hmm.
You're off tomorrow? Okay. I'll have Siva set us up a group DM on Discord. So just check your DMs on Discord and we can brainstorm. And if you ever want to get on panel, let me know. Okay, and I also want y'all to know, the people that are still here or watching on replay, that we haven't forgotten about the Amtrak cases. It's just been a lot going on. It's been a busy week. But we will touch up on Robin Putnam's case, which he was found deceased. And he was missing for, was it 3 years? And it was another Amtrak incident. So thank you all for joining. Yes, Sipa?
Huh?
Oh, I thought you were about to say something.
Oh, yeah. Queen, I need you to accept my friend request on there so I can create the group DM.
Stop it. You psycho. Just be a good dog. Don't start clubbing. No. Stop. No, you're gonna get on my computer. Go. Okay. All right. So thank y'all for joining for this long live. I didn't expect it to go this long, but it's been good. Thank y'all for y'all's input and theories and the conversation. Thank you for keeping chat respectful.
And then
And Nina's and Rocky was so needy. And we will see y'all again next time. I'm probably gonna be doing a stop. I'm probably going to be doing we will probably be doing another Kylie Rodney live where we're going to be addressing just like questions we still have based on the facts that we have presented to us, not theories, not anything that was like distractions, any of that stuff. We're just going to be talking about questions we might still have and things like that, because we all do still have questions, and it is okay to still talk about her. But yeah, we'll get to that maybe next week. So thank you all again. Queen, I thought it was yes, because his body washed up. Yep. But it was from an Amtrak incident. All right, good night, everybody. Love you all.
Good night.
And thank you again, Tifa, for everything.
Mhm.
We'll see y'all next time. Good night.